SWAC. Here's the defense behind Giles. Brenna Bloom behind the plate. He's done a really terrific job leading this team. Off speed. Jackson, coming into the NCAA tournament, had been red hot to finish out the season, leading them to the SWAC tournament championship. Very good start, 1, 2, 3, including 2 strikeouts for Giles.
Gotta love the way that Ellie Giles took the circle here today. Nice little spinny rise to get herself out of the inning.
From Nashville, where Belmont is located, and they have a super fan who has made that trip down for the Bruins, making their first trip to the NCAA tournament. And for the second straight day, Jackson State is going with Brooklyn Morris to start.
Well, and she is so gritty in the circle. Took last season off to find her passion for the game again. Got the most innings on staff, most starts, most complete games, most appearances on the season. They rely on her arm in the circle.
She was the most valuable player of the SWAC tournament. As you take a look at Belmont's lineup, Emma Barnes got the only hit off Emma Lemley as they were shut out by Virginia Tech. Alabama shut out Jackson State on just 1 hit, and that is our Capital One starting lineup. Bay NCO will get things going. Senior from Tucson, who has been starting ever since her freshman year. So quite a few Arizonans. Is that right, Arizonans? Arizonans.
I don't know how you would say
Come
it.
on, you played college softball in Arizona. And quite well, from what I heard.
Yeah, back when dinosaurs walked the earth.
NCO shows bunt, gets it down, and the third baseman was crashing Jackson to get the first out.
A lot of short game used for these two teams. They know that sometimes they've got to just find a way to put themselves on. Nice job by Jackson to crash so hard, throw on the run. Good first out.
Riley Spindler is the third baseman. True freshman from Wisconsin. She was and is the Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Year. Stepping
today. There had been a ton of rain, a lot of weather moved through the area. That out in left field, we were told that it had stayed pretty wet, and what happens in this game is out in left, Gabrielle Willis loses her footing, goes down. It's a triple for Spindler, her 8th of the year.
Leading the team in that category. And what was the description? Squishy?
That was the term used, squishy, just soft footing. It's hard to get a firm grip of the ground as you're running out there and left. Every other part of the field is actually playing really well in terms of being solid, but out and left, a little soft, and that's what happened to Willis.
You see a lot of divots and pieces of ground that have been dug up. This is an all-natural field here at Rhodes. Nicole Hughes, the number 3 hitter. With Spindler coming into this game with the best batting averages. You mentioned the rain. We had rain overnight, and rained really until about an hour or so before the first pitch of the first game, which was Virginia Tech, who fell to Alabama, and we started on time. That's into the hole, and Belmont scores its first run of the regional. Hughes drives in Spindler.
So important to just get timely hitting, and early in this game, great job to take advantage of that miscue in left to put a runner on third base. Nicole Hughes doesn't try to do too much, Great job by Ariana Murillo to be able to stop that ball, but with it getting in that 5-6 hole and squibbling away, it puts a run on the board for Belmont.
RBI single for Hughes. There's Grace Cressley, who is a grad. Belmont is her third school. There's Grace Cressley, who is a grad. Belmont is her third school.
Field by Jackson State. Jackson State 155 stolen bases as a team. Belmont coming in with 67.
Murillo goes over to second. They can't turn two, but get the lead runner Hughes. And now there's two away. Jackson State, the defense, Gibson, the right fielder, who is their stolen base leader with 50, covers a lot of ground over there in right field. And you've seen a couple of nice plays by Murillo at short. Christina Carlson is the catcher. There's Christina from Whittier, California. Jackson State and Jackson, Mississippi. Hit to center field where Stevens was perfectly placed for the final out. But a triple and then an RBI single by Hughes puts Belmont on top.
The Bolts and the Bandits.
I know the general manager for the Bandits.
It's kind of cool, but her head coach is even better. Stacy Newman-Denise is the head coach at San Diego State.
They got a big game against UCLA today.
Sure do.
First pitch swing for Almaraz, and that's a leadoff single. Second hit of the regionals for Jackson State.
Well, and after a rough first inning, good start by Almaraz to be able to come in and start things off here in the top of the second.
An elimination game. The winner gets Virginia Tech when this is over. The other Tech. I just saw that Georgia Tech is losing right now. That's a good sac bunt by Willis to send Almaraz, over to second.
When Georgia Tech lost yesterday, so they're behind in their elimination game today.
Yeah, they're down to Mercer now.
Nice job just putting the ball on the ground. Sacrifice bunt. Doesn't get recorded as a plate appearance, so doesn't hurt her out.
Hits for herself.
Yesterday, the DP in their game was Beja Allen. Today, Howard getting the chance to swing the stick.
Howard hitting .292 on the season, making her 22nd start. Sean Schumacher calling balls and strikes this afternoon. 4-person umpiring crew. 2-1. After falling behind, Giles gets her third strikeout.
Ball up in the zone. You know that she likes to live at the top of the zone, so you have to keep your hands high on approach. In that one, Howard dropped those hands looking to elevate, but the rise ball takes advantage of her.
Pitcher Christina Carlson steps to the plate. Carlson this year hitting .280, which is 110 points better than last year. Trying to get that first run of the regional. That sails out of play. Up on Carlson's 2-out RBI single.
Nice job. Just stay inside this ball. Had to give it a little bit of a double clutch. It's a changeup. Down the right field line. Finds its way just inside the line. Great opportunity for a run with a runner in scoring position. Jackson State ties it up.
Just the second run ever scored by Jackson State in this, their third NCAA appearance. 11th run driven in for Carlson. And here's Brooklyn Morris, the starting pitcher, who also bats in their lineup. Took the loss yesterday as they were one hit by Alabama. Head coach Kevin Montgomery, in his 7th year in charge of Jackson State, taking them to the tournament championship for the 2nd straight year. And he talks about Brooklyn Morris, says she's a dog, but sometimes he has to calm her down a little bit. Ultra competitive.
Well, and she just has worked so hard to get to this spot. Last year did not play, had some health issues, and also because of that missed class, which hurt her grades, so had to work extra hard this season to not only make herself eligible, but to just get herself back on the field and ready to go. Did such a good job, put herself on the dean's list this year with those improved grades.
MVP of the tournament. There's the person with the most strikeouts in the
and save her for the nightcap if they do advance.
That's under the glove of the third baseman, Spindler. 3 hits in this inning, all singles for the Tigers.
Nice job of just staying inside this pitch, driving it the other way. I thought that was going to get gloved by Spindler, but gets a nice little hop over the leather. And Morris, big hit.
Look at the shift, Jen.
Yep, defensively they take their right fielder, move her into second base, and shift their second baseman over on the other side of short.
For Murillo. And nobody's in right field.
Well, your job as a pitcher is make sure you don't miss your spot. Ball to the right field will score a bunch of runs. Some players like to try to hit their way out of a shift and make something out of nothing, but more often than not, if you can just belt this ball between the fielders on the left side or lift it into that shallow left center gap, you can be successful.
The shift works as she lines out to end the inning, but an RBI single by Carlson ties the game up.
Got to find a way to hit out of the shift. They're going to put it on for her again next time. The shortstop still gets the out.
It's just teams because Oklahoma have won at 6 of the last 8, including 4 in a row. That's a foul ball by Balsiger to start things off, but Oklahoma
wins, or their last 4 wins have been via the run rule.
Right now, A&M leading Liberty 5-3 in the bottom of the 5th. So maybe that run rule string will end. Oklahoma beating California in the bottom of the 4th, 5-2. And Jordy Ball hit another home run for Nebraska.
Tell you what, she had 2 home runs yesterday. The first pitcher to be 2020 this year. 20 wins, 20 dingers. Jordy Ball.
They're beating Southeastern Louisiana, who beat LSU yesterday. Nebraska up 14-1.
I think it's a comfortable
lead. That's
lead.
A final now. It's officially a run rule win.
That would be a comfortable lead, yes.
So comfy they're no longer on the field.
They're going to head home.
Double elimination all the way through. Balsiger strikes out to start the 2nd off Morris.
Down and in is such a hard pitch to catch up to. Nice job. Out of the lefty, that ball cuts across the plate right under the hands of Balsiger.
Brenna Bloom, the catcher, up for the first time. Goes after the first pitch, backhanded nicely by Murillo, and what a pick over there at first base by Almaraz.
I see you flashing the leather over there. That was pretty. Play made.
Brentwood, Tennessee, part of the greater Nashville metro area.
Really difficult to attack a lefty drop ball underneath the hands as a right-handed hitter. The best way to do so is to move up in the box and catch it before that break gets under the swing. Nice.
Yep, little change up, 48 miles an hour.
Yep, beautiful change up. Difference maker for her in the circles. She likes to throw it when she's ahead.
Now the 2-2. Again, Rio showing some stuff over there at shortstop. 1, 2, 3 inning for Morris after Jackson State tied up the game. game in the Tuscaloosa regional. The winner who comes out of here, Virginia Tech losing to Alabama earlier today. Bama awaits who comes away today in the regional final, and whoever comes out of here will go to Norman, assuming that Oklahoma wins. And right now they are comfortably in front of Cal. Omaha and BU playing an elimination game later on today. So Oklahoma have won 4 championships in a row. Alabama and Oklahoma have had some epic postseason matchups historically. A lot of softball still to be played.
Defensive shift for Belmont.
Jackson State shut out yesterday by Alabama. Did not put on anything like the shift we're seeing right now from Belmont. So they lost 8-0 in 6 innings to Alabama. And they have 3 times as many hits today as they did yesterday.
Yeah, just 1 hit yesterday for both of these teams against Virginia Tech and Alabama. Could not get a lot of offense going. So far, both of them out hitting their numbers yesterday.
Gibson's so important to keep her off the base paths with her 50 stolen bases on the season.
I mean, anytime she puts the ball on the ground, she is a threat down the line. She is not afraid to drop a drag bunt right in the defense's face. Good news for Belmont with 2 strikes. The drag bunt is now off the table. She's going to have to swing through.
We talked to Kalia about her season and found out that this is the first year that she has actually worn glasses and contact lenses. That would help you see the ball a little bit better.
Yeah, her mom got tired of her striking out last year and took her to the doctor.
Let's see her speed.
No
Not
chance.
even a throw.
No chance. Not with that kind of speed down the line. That high hop is just picture perfect for a slapper. There is no opportunity to even try to get her out. You got to just wait for the ball to come out of the sky. And now a ton of speed at first.
We anticipate Gibson going to try to steal second. Stevens grounded out her first time at bat. Third baseman Spindler playing in. She's got the green light.
Yeah, she picks the pitch that she wants to try to go on.
Yep, she's going. Bunt is down. And she's going to go all the way to third, but is out. So Gibson had made up her mind that she was going to go to third. And she has been thrown out. It's a call on the field. Coach Montgomery.
Yeah, it was a bunt and steal. I think the question is, does she get her foot in there before the tag that's applied high is able to get down onto Gibson?
And Montgomery is asking for a review. The question is, did she beat the tag, and was there ever a tag in the first place?
I mean, the throw takes her into Gibson, but the tag's applied up on the head of Gibson, and I think those feet are able to get in before contact is made with the glove to Gibson.
So we'll have another challenge. We had, what, 4 of them in our first game between Virginia Tech and Alabama.
Oh, but she slides into the foot of Spindler as well.
Jackson State is challenging the play at third base. We will take a look at the entire play, out, safe, or obstruction.
Well, the crazy thing of this is she does leave first base open to advance to, or leave the front of the base, the face of the base open. So I don't know that obstruction will be part of it, because it's the throw that brings Spindler into the path of Gibson coming around, but she slides into the foot of Spindler. So while the tag is applied high, almost on the face of Gibson, the foot doesn't get to the bag because she slides right into the foot of the third base. Cover. Good job for the pitcher to get her nose in the middle of that defense.
So the review at a centralized location in Pittsburgh. And that is Susan Eads over there at third base, who called her out. She was the home plate umpire in our last game. Coach Montgomery, right away, we could tell that he was upset and wanted them to look at the play.
And remember, obstruction can be called if the forward-facing edge of the advancing base is completely blocked before the defender gets the ball. So you're trying to see if the defender is blocking the advancing base runner from any point of the front of the bag. And she had set herself up blocking the front edge of the base. The throw did take her away, but originally set herself up right in the way of the advancing base runner, Gibson.
We await the official word. I'm predicting obstruction. And she'll get third base.
So they were looking at multiple things on that play: out, safe, and obstruction.
Coach Matthews getting an explanation first.
Belmont is going to take the leaving early out, and the batter will go back to the plate. So we have 1 out and a 0-1 count.
There were a lot of challenges on that play, Pam. Lots of moving parts. So Belmont challenged Gibson leaving early at first base, which supersedes any play at third. And with that, Gibson is out, and Stevens back in the box.
Stevens, slow roller, picked up and thrown out. Spindler throws her out.
And so Gibson at first base definitely left early. He did not mention that when he went to the middle of the field to let us know that that was something they were looking at. But a good challenge by Belmont to erase the potential threat
of the other challenge. So you score that as Gibson out at first base unassisted because she left early. And then Stevens grounded out to third base. Jackson struck out the first time she faced Giles in this game. Gibson sitting in the dugout. Capital One. Denny Stadium, that's where they play football, I believe, here at the University of Alabama. We are not far from there. In the softball stadium, Road Stadium, which is a very nice facility, right?
This
That's why they host all the time.
Well, this playing field. Universities around the country, so you get to just focus on softball. That doesn't get to happen very often as a student athlete.
Belmont with 40 wins this year. That is a new program record since they joined Division I. Second baseman Mackenzie Barney paddling the sun a little bit. Grabs it for the first out and turns us over to the leadoff hitter, Bay Encio. Thrown out attempting a bunt in her first at bat. Encio, a slapper, has hit as many home runs in her career as I have. 0. Senior from Tucson. And because she is not a power hitter, everybody playing every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series only on the ESPN networks. And with all these games going on, my goodness, there's a lot. And they got it all covered on 7 Innings Live. Spindler is the batter to whom you referenced with that triple she was credited for after Willis slipped in the squishy outfield and left.
Yes, that was the term that was given to us, squishy.
Yes. And that gets into short right field. Gibson had a chance, but no one was covering first base to try to throw her out. Hughes had the RBI single that drove in Spindler to give Belmont a short-lived 1-0 lead. And now Kevin Montgomery. We will talk to him in the next half inning. He calls his infield in to chat. And Nicole Hughes at the pass. She gets to everything, so an infield single for Spindler. She's 2 for 2.
I've been impressed with the arm out and right. Not only is Leah Gibson so fast, but she's got a cannon for an arm.
Brooklyn Morris getting the signs from the dugout. Hughes had the RBI single that drove in Spindler. to give Belmont a short-lived 1-0 lead. Now Kevin Montgomery, we'll talk to him in the next half inning. He calls his infield in to chat. Nicole Hughes at the plate. Had been the starting shortstop, but has been dealing with a bit of a back injury, so she's moved over to first base. They still need her bat in the lineup. And it's a good one.
And she's been
third.
Yeah, she's been in tough and big moments, and one of the qualities that Laura Matthews pointed out about Hughes was she kind of giggled and said, she's a goofball. You have to have one of those on every team, one that can keep things light in the big moments. That seems to be Nicole Hughes for Belmont.
Yeah, really nice visit with Belmont. All excited to get into the tournament, and Coach Matthews, being a Nashville native, able to go home and be the head coach at Belmont. Apparently really pretty campus.
Yeah, it says it sits up on the hill, has a view of the Nashville skyline. She said, I don't know why athletes wouldn't want to come here to play. It's a great place to go to school.
A really good school. Ball goes all the way to the backstop. That allows Spindler to trot on down to second.
Your job as a catcher, keep it in front. She does a good job of trying to drop down into that blocking position, but stays high, and it ricochets all the way back to the backstop.
Wild pitch on Morris. Yeah, Almaraz, I'm sorry. I'm like the cocky taco. I'm just blowing things here.
I'm just hot sauce, picking up your mess.
Almaraz, the senior, leading things off. She singled and scored in the second inning. First run scored in this regional. They did not score in the regional last year when they also won the SWAC. The winner gets Virginia Tech in the third and final game of our triple header on this elimination Saturday. And Belmont going with Ellie Giles, trying to save their unquestioned ace in Maya Johnson. Should they win, and they could throw Johnson again against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech beat them yesterday. Beneath the clouds, or above the clouds. That is hammered into right field and off the top of the wall. Almaraz with a stand-up double just missed a home run.
You know what she says right there, Pam? She says, don't disrespect me, because I can...
Right. Just call me hitter.
The slugger at the plate, Almaraz able to come away with a really big swing on a rise ball that sat letter high off the wall, just a couple feet away from her fourth home run of the year. Puts herself in scoring position. What a poke by the first baseman.
And right fielder Barnes had a long way to go, playing rather in on Almaraz, who is now 2 for 2 today. And she goes over to third on a nicely placed bunt by Willis. One away and a runner on third.
I mean, just station to station ball, especially with the way that Almaraz started this fourth inning. It's such a great at bat to put herself in scoring position, and then Willis does her job to move Almaraz over just 60 feet away from scoring. That right there is not trying to do too much. Exactly what Coach Montgomery was talking about in his in-game interview.
Haley Howard, the DP, struck out in her first at bat. And for Belmont, Mackenzie Willis, the right-handed sophomore, is up and warming. And it's one thing that Belmont has done under Coach Matthews, kind of mix and match between Giles and Willis, whereas the ace Johnson, you kind of ride her as long as you can every time. Nation's leader in strikeouts.
In her first at bat, Haley Howard was vulnerable to that ball up in the zone, struck out on the rise ball. She keeps her hands low and then approaches from low to high, so that rise ball can be sometimes hard to pick up in a swing.
Gets her for the second straight time with a swinging strikeout.
That one had a little something taken off of it. It's just about manipulating speeds and zones there. Took a little velocity off to get the second strikeout against Howard.
So up to Carlson now, who had the RBI single with 2 outs in the second inning. But skies that one playable for Hughes. She straddles the line. They got a runner all the way to third with 1 out, but couldn't bring her home. Still tied up at 1 apiece in Tuscaloosa.
What happened on that replay review?
Yeah, so they called obstruction at third, and so I got to go back and say, actually, I would like the leaving early play at first instead of the double play that we had. So, yeah, they called obstruction at third base on our pitcher coming back to cover on the bunt.
And you were absolutely right. Gibson did leave early. Very good.
All right.
All right, thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Coach
you, guys.
Matthews, and congratulations for taking her hometown team, Belmont, to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. She has a lot of family here. We saw her nieces and nephews running around. She's got 2 kids of her own as they made the trip here. And she said actually a lot of her family went to Vanderbilt. And as we know, Vanderbilt does not have a softball team.
Nope. So if you want to play in Nashville, the best place to go, head on up to Belmont.
Be a Bruin.
That's right.
You always wanted to be a Bruin.
Wow, Pam.
Grace Gressley leading off. They weren't always the Bruins, by the way. They changed their name. They used to be known as the Rebels until I believe it was sometime in the 90s.
95, 96.
Very good, Jennifer. And they changed it to the Bruins. They have a really cool mascot now. Gressley, you don't want to hit it to Amarov.
Lots of family members for Laura Matthews here today, including her own kiddos, Luca, who's 3, and Addie, who's 1.5.
Emma Barnes flew out to center in her first at bat. And before we talked to Coach Matthews live, she was like, well, we got to get our bats going. And Barnes sends Gibson back, but there's the speed. She can play in and then go back and grab it.
Yeah, she would totally beat Taco in a race. There's no chance. You know why? Because she's got hot sauce. I mean, she's spicy. The way that she runs is so good. Just covers so much ground. Almost a snow cone out there. And Morris in the circle, loving the defense.
I had a chance to speak with Gibson and Morris and Jackson, the 3 of the stars for the Tigers. And Gibson just so fast, confident. There's 2 outs, and here's Balsiger, who struck out swinging against Morris the first time.
Coach says that Balsiger has the highest softball IQ on the team. Just makes adjustments during at bats, feels the game. baseball junkie that now will take that information from that changeup, that early swing and miss, process it. It's that spin that just, it mimics the other pitches that Morris throws. Fools the eye into thinking it's coming in with velocity.
Balsiger is a true freshman from Germantown, Wisconsin. Had a lot of
from her knees. I mean, shortstop's hard enough to throw from, but on the dive, comes up, almost gets the out at first.
Yeah, but just the fact she got to it and then from her knees made the decent throw. The Balsiger beat it out. Well, Murillo really putting on a show out there at shortstop this afternoon. Balsiger, the 2-out base runner for Bloom, who grounded out because she hit it to Murillo in her first at bat.
Most people in this lineup can say they've hit it to Murillo today.
She has 5 assists and 1 putout today.
The only players who have not hit the ball to Murillo are Spindler, the second batter, Barnes, sitting in the 5-hole, and Delecki, the number 9 batter. Everybody else out by Murillo.
Bloom behind 0-2. Sprinter stands for Balsiger over there at first.
Good adjustments on the speed change by spoiling that changeup. Good job keeping the at-bat alive.
Morris yesterday started against Alabama, went 4 innings through 73 pitches. The next one here will be pitch number 53. She keeps spoiling them.
That's just a quality at bat to keep this alive. A lot of teams will track quality at bats. And as this one goes over 7 pitches deep.
This is pitch number 8 on the way.
Yep. Really good at bat for Belmont.
And on the 9th pitch, she hits it to Barney. Throws her out to end the inning, and Strand Balsiger. The runs hard to come by. We are still tied at 1 as we go to the 5th.
Belmont got on the board first. Nice little hit in the 5-6 hole. Nicole Hughes with that hit scored Riley Spindler. Belmont on top 1-0. But coming back, Christina Carlson for Jackson State. Got a nice little ribby of her own, scoring Mia Almaraz. We're all knotted up at 1, Pam.
The winner will play Virginia Tech next. The loser will have their season come to a close. And comparison of the pitchers, Brooklyn Morris, starting pitcher, still in there for Jackson State, hitting right now against Ellie Giles. Very even matchup. The SWAC champs in Jackson State and the Missouri Valley champs in Belmont. Jackson State now has Georgina Gant, a right-handed freshman, throwing in their bullpen. Coach Montgomery, when we talked to him in the last half inning for Jackson State, admitted that Brooklyn's getting a little tired out there in the circle, so he's got his freshman up and warming.
Yeah, Georgina Gann, I anticipate seeing her here this game. Brooklyn Morris at the plate, who is the starting pitcher and has done so good, or so well for them this
She considered quitting softball last year. Hung in there, got her grades up, and has been a major contributor to this run to the NCAA tournament.
She's a huge factor for the success that they've had this season. She's thrown the most innings this year, has the lowest ERA on staff.
And a full count pitch here to start things off in the fifth. Galecki throws her out. Morris had singled in her first at bat, and now the number 9 hitter and the shortstop, Mariana Murillo, who has been terrific out at shortstop. And the shift is back on.
No surprise. They anticipate that this ball's going to the left side. She's going to try to use her wheels to get down the line.
So no right fielder. 3 on the left side of the infield. And the outfielders, the 2 of them that are out there, are playing well in. And she sends it into the outfield. But Balsiger just had to drift over to her left to grab it for the second out.
Doing your homework pays off, and you got to make sure you understand the kind of hitter that is at the plate, not just what they can and can't attack, but how to play them defensively to be successful as well, knowing she's not got power either, just loves to use her wheels down the line. I'm always impressed with a hitter that can run in the box and attack a pitch coming in the 60s. I mean, that's a different level of skill.
Gibson takes strike 2. Giles in the circle trying to set down the Tigers in order. Giles in the circle trying to set down the Tigers in order for the first time since the first inning, when she got 2 of her 4 strikeouts on the afternoon. That is just foul. And we'll see if Gibson takes off immediately. She waited till the second pitch last time and left early.
You think she's gun shy?
Zoe Keys, the one and only assistant coach, went over and had a chat with her. She's over there coaching first. And maybe she said, why didn't you leave? They want you to steal second, or at least try, up in the booth. There she goes, but it doesn't matter. The point is moot because Stevens just struck out to end the inning. Gibson stranded at first. A lot of zero. We head to the bottom of the fifth in an elimination game in Alabama. World Series begins May 29th for the 24th straight year. Every game is on ESPN. Finals begin Wednesday, June 4th from Oklahoma City. For information, go to NCAA.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. And we've had some stuff going on here. Jenny, how about A&M going down?
I did not see that coming with their 18-0 win yesterday against St. Francis. Did not anticipate Liberty getting the big win, first time ever win over a #1 seed.
A&M at one point was leading by 4 runs, so their biggest blown lead of the season, and stops that string of run rule wins. Whoever wins this game here in Tuscaloosa will get Virginia Tech. Belmont lost to Virginia Tech yesterday, a one-hit shutout, and there's Tech. They're getting hydrated. Emma Lemley there with her signature glasses / goggles. What would you call them? Gloggles?
She called them goggles when we talked to her.
Em Lem can name them whatever she wants.
I think I'd call them glasses, but
she's Emma. And here's Emily Cockrell to start things off. 1 run on 6 hits and no errors for Jackson State. 1-4-0 for Belmont. Make it 1-5-0 for Belmont. Cockrell, the #8 hitter, leads the 5th off with a single.
Nice start for the bottom of the lineup, knowing that your power and speed are at the top. That's Cockrell's job. Get on. Allow Delecky to be able to
Delecky up for only the 2nd time, popped out to second her first time up, and there's the bunt. And that'll work. A nice job by Barney, the second baseman, to snag the throw that was leading her towards foul territory. But Cockrell over at second.
And it's just textbook softball. Get them on, move them over. Now the job of the top of the lineup is to get them in.
NCAA 0 for 2 against Morris. NCAA now a senior, starting since her freshman year. Short game specialist.
Well, with first base playing back, she's not really crashing. A drag bunt to the right side could put her on.
Sends it over to the right side. That moves the runner over to third. There are now 2 away.
Well, and a good job. Slappers typically like to push the ball to the left side, but in that situation with a runner on second base, you do not want to hit in front of your runner. So by pulling that ball over to the second baseman, it allows an advancement by Cockrell to put herself 60 feet away from home.
Spindler 2 for 2 today, a triple and a single. Triple aided because Willis lost her footing. Squishy left field. Rolled a triple and then the infield single back in the third for down 1 and 2. Spindler and Hughes behind her with the 2 highest batting averages on this squad. So this would be a big out for Morris.
And this is the most dangerous or potent part of the lineup. You've got a lot of short game on the outsides of the lineup, but when you sit this 2, 3, 4 spot, bats have a little bit more juice in them to push runs across.
Hit into left field, should be playable for Willis, and it is. And Cockrell is stranded at third. We are still tied at 1 apiece as we head to inning number 6. presented by Capital One. Become a nice sunny day here in Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama. This is a must-win game, an elimination game tied up at 1 now as we go to the top of the 6th inning. And Belmont is, well, they put in a new pitcher, Mackenzie Willis.
And Willis pairs well with Ellie Giles. Different look coming out of the circle now, making her 17th appearance on the season.
Willis comes on, and she will face Jace Jackson, most potent bat in this lineup for the Tigers. She was 0 for 2 against Giles, the starter.
Willis will step in throwing in the low 60s and relies on a screw curve mix and her rise ball. Not much down in the zone, and she can be too erratic around the plate. Needs to stay consistently on the plate.
Foul ball. Willis in her first year at Belmont, coming over from a Division II school, Cal State University, Monterey Bay. She threw 195, had 195 strikeouts and 162 innings last year. Monterey Bay sounds like a nice part of California, right? Up in the north. I know you're Willis working really together. Whether one starts, the other one will come in often, and that's a nice strikeout to get Willis going, to get Jackson, who's a big threat.
Well, in back-to-back strikeouts, Giles ended the last inning with a strikeout on the rise. This one, Mackenzie Willis racks up her first against a big swing by Jace Jackson.
Almaraz has 2 of Jackson State's 6 hits. Single and a double, scored their only run back in the 2nd inning on the RBI single by Carlson. Belmont scored in the 1st inning, but not since. Both teams shut out yesterday on 1-hit shutouts.
And while this game sits tied, I think we sometimes forget what's at stake in this game. The loser goes home, the end of their season. The winner of this game has to play again right after, 35, 40 minutes later. So, yes, Belmont wants to move on. Yes, Jackson State wants to move on, but they're having to manage pitching staffs that with a win still have another game yet to play.
And the temperature keeps climbing right now, about 83 degrees in Tuscaloosa, with a feel-like temperature around 89 because of the humidity, which is 65%, down from around 95% when we first got here this morning.
Well, it was basically raining when we got here. But Raina Cruikshank's up in the bullpen for Belmont.
Almaraz gets the walk. That is the first walk given up by either Belmont pitcher, and Almaraz has been on base all 3 times today.
That very disciplined at the plate, earns her way on. She's a dangerous bat. There was a perfect 2 for 2 with a single and a double prior to that at bat.
Aria Hill coming in to run for Almaraz over there at first. You get as much speed. She represents the lead run as we get here in the late innings.
Yeah, not a lot of outs left to play with, so you're trying to put pressure on the defense, and Jackson State will do so by putting a little bit more speed over there at first.
And now we have a Willis matchup.
What are you talking about, Willis?
Mackenzie Willis in the circle. And Gabrielle at the plate. Well, what was that? Different strokes reference? None of these kids have any idea what that is. They both of the Willises would look at you and go,
what are you talking about?
Unless their parents or grandparents talked about it.
That's classic stuff.
There's your two Willis, or will I? Would that be?
Yeah, I think you have to take off the S for sure.
1-2. Got her. McKenzie gets Gabrielle. Second out.
And that ball up and in on Willis. Exploiting that inside part of the plate. 2 strikeouts now for the reliever.
And the pinch hitter will come up for Jackson State. It's Courtney Little. Hitting for Howard, who had struck out twice against departed starter Ellie Giles.
And I think this is a smart move by head coach Kevin Montgomery. Haley Howard had struggled.
She's pinch hitting for the starting DP, Howard.
Little bit more velocity out of the circle now with Mackenzie Willis, and that's a big adjustment when you've been at the plate facing Giles, who throws just under 60 miles an hour, now having to pick up your pace at the plate to hit 65.
Willis got off to a good start, and head coach Laura Matthews said she got a little walk happy, gave up too many of those, and has been very good the last couple of weeks, and here in a big spot to try to keep this game tied. Off the glove of Bloom, and the wild pitch sends the pinch runner Hill down to second.
And not a lot down in the zone for Willis. She stays top of the zone with rise, curve, and screw. You cannot let that rise ball get away. Now a runner in scoring position for Jackson State on that pitch that got all the way to the backstop.
That misses, so the count goes full. Christina Carlson waits on deck. She had the RBI single back in the second inning. Tied up.
3 strikeouts in the inning for the reliever, Willis. She's dealing.
Lawrence, a former leadoff hitter, now 5th in this lineup, coming back from an ACL tear a couple of years ago, and head coach Laura Matthews says that Barnes loves the big moment. This is certainly a big moment here.
Thought that was ball 4 on that one. Thought it was down and in. It takes time after you have an injury to trust that body part again, but Coach Matthews says she thinks this year is the year that she started to trust that knee completely and not thinking about it anymore.
Took an extra pitch, but she did get the walk. That is the first walk given up by either Jackson State pitcher. And that induces a visit from Coach Montgomery.
Well, no walks given up by the starters in this one for either team. Both walks, 1 on each side, given up by the relievers. Giles did such a good job of just keeping the ball near the plate. Her defense backed her up well.
Maddie Balsiger about to step into the batter's box. Struck out and had an infield single against Morris. Jackson with the calling off everybody emphatically. Just one pitch to get Balsiger. 2 away.
And Jackson at third says she doesn't really like to talk. She doesn't understand why your teammates like stop everything and listen to her. But when a leader on your team chooses to say something, you know that it's something worth listening to, that because she does not talk all the time.
Yeah, we visited with her, very soft-spoken, quiet, but one of the leaders out there in the field, and now it's up to Bloom. It's grounded out twice against Morris. Her first time seeing Gant this weekend in this game. Off the glove of Jackson. They're waving the pinch runner Bertucci home. Belmont takes the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Big 2-out hit for Bloom, but Jackson almost was able to grab it.
What makes you a leader? Coming through in a big moment. Brenna Bloom out ahead of that pitch on the outside part of the plate. Sneaks it past the glove at third in the 5-6 hole. Pinch runner comes around to score. Nice job by Bertucci to come around to score the second run of the game for Belmont.
So the RBI single, and then an error charge to the left fielder Willis allowed both runners to take an extra base. Hit to the shortstop, Murillo, who has been very solid. The big hit with 2 outs, the RBI single by Brenna Bloom. Belmont on top as we head to the 7th. Has to come up with at least 1 run to extend this game. And Belmont getting that run in the bottom of the 6th. Both teams looking for their first win in program history. Belmont's 3rd trip to the dance. This is our first trip to the dance. Jackson State has been here now. This is their 3rd trip. If Belmont can hang on to win, they will play Virginia Tech, the team that beat them yesterday, in our finale.
And she is attacking top of the zone, knowing with the Jackson State only has 3 outs to go. A little bit of pressure at the plate, swinging out of the zone.
Down 0-2. Carlson, Morris, and Murillo due up. Morris is in the on-deck circle, lifted as the pitcher. But we'll come back into hit, and that's hit right to Hughes. Steps on the bag for the first out.
A little bit late on contact, but Carlson stung that ball right at the first baseman. Hughes came away with a really nice out, but just had to bend over to pick it up. No movement laterally needed.
Brooklyn Morris, just her third at bat, did single one of the 6 hits for Jackson State. 7 hits for Belmont, the biggest coming in the bottom of the 6th inning. The RBI single with 2 outs by Bloom, the catcher. Jackson State, for the 2nd straight year, the tournament champions in the SWAC. Mari Stevens, Alvarez among their seniors, but a lot of two and two. Now a full count with Murillo on deck, and then the top of the order and the very speedy Gibson. And walks have been a problem for Willis this year. That's the second one she has given up in as many innings since coming in to relieve Giles.
And I just like the plate discipline by Morris to stay off those pitches, put herself on. She's the tying run over there at first base.
Pinch runner coming in for Morris, Jordan Dyer. First time we've seen her this weekend. Dyer is the tying run over there at first. And here's Murillo. She's made some really good plays at shortstop this weekend. Still looking for her first hit of the regional.
Nice job of not making that play too difficult. Little feed over there to Cockrell at second base. Good lead throw. Sometimes that play can get a little bit out of sorts when the throw doesn't lead your second baseman. Nice job just throwing to the bag.
Here comes Gibson. A couple of infield singles in her last 2 at-bats. And we saw the shift with the other pitcher, Giles, with both Murillo and Gibson, but we're not seeing it now defensively.
They're playing straight defense, not trying to make things too complicated in this situation. With 2 outs, they're going to force Gibson to try to put this ball in play with a swing away.
Pitch sailed high. 3 corners crashing, and the second baseman Cockrell going over to first to cover. As we look to our right, some of the Virginia Tech pitchers have gone into the bullpen area. Down by the Jackson State dugout. See Emma Lemley over there. Virginia Tech will play the winner of this game.
It's a pretty quick turnaround, though, Pam. So as soon as this game is over, Virginia Tech will have 35 minutes to warm and get ready to keep their season alive against the winner of this one.
Virginia Tech losing to Alabama in our first game today. 2-2. Fouling them off.
Yeah, she doesn't want her season to end. Just a sophomore has been so good in that leadoff position. 50 stolen bases this year, 40 stolen bases last year. Great discipline, laying off that ball up in the zone as Willis tried to get the swing and miss to get herself out of this inning with a lead and advancing to tonight's game against Virginia Tech.
Full count with the runner at first and 2 away. Jackson State needs a run. Gibson takes it for ball 4. Great at bat. That was an 8-pitch at bat.
And the third walk given up by Willis in the circle. She's wanting the swing and miss to happen on those pitches wide of the zone. It's going to get her a little bit of a visit from her pitching coach.
Jackson State trying to mount this comeback. They trailed 1-0, answered very quickly a half inning later, and just a lot of positive talk out there for Willis to try to get her to nail this down. Have a second chance at Virginia Tech. First time facing Willis. Willis's 40th pitch, and it's just her second inning of work.
You want to make sure that you fill the zone, but find the corners. You don't want to leave a cookie up there with the tying run on first and the winning, or on second, and the winning run over there on first.
Stevens lets it go high.
Ball up in the zone, trying to get a swing and miss. Great plate discipline by Stevens.
No activity over in the Belmont bullpen. Stevens fouls it off. Might have gotten a piece of Bloom behind the plate.
Yeah, she wore that one pretty hard.
Yeah, take a couple of seconds.
Like foul ball right off the top of the helmet.
Thank goodness for those helmets. And still, that's gonna.
It's not gonna leave a mark.
I know, but it's gonna hurt a little bit. Nice round of applause from the fans here for Bloom. Two pitch, 2 away, 2 on. State, you have exactly who you want on deck in Jace Jackson. She is their best hitter. She's got some pop. Driven in the most runs on this team. And she'll get a chance to hit with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
And I think this timeout called by Kevin Montgomery down the line is kind of like what you would do to a kicker in a football game. Try to ice them, make them think about what's at stake and what's on the line. 3 walks this inning. Loads the bases.
Willis has walked 3 of the last 4 hitters she has faced. And it was walks that had plagued her earlier in the season, Coach Laura Matthews. Whoever wins this game, it will be their first win ever in tournament play. Belmont making its first trip to the tournament. Jackson State, 3rd time. And back-to-back years. Coach Montgomery, the big smile on his face. This is the player you want up if you're Jackson State. And it goes over the glove. Everybody stays put. And Coach Montgomery almost did a headstand because his runner didn't break from 3rd.
Not only did she not break on the pass ball, but didn't break on the throw that came from 3rd, from the catcher to the pitcher. I mean, that was textbook when you should take advantage of a ball that gets by.
Murillo did not take the chance. Need 1 out, does Belmont. Back-to-back walks, keeping this inning alive. There's a strike.
But I think really smart choice by Jackson to make Willis bring it into the zone.
Jace looking for her first hit today. Had one yesterday. Their only hit against Virginia Tech. Sent into the outfield. Barnes is under it. Grabs it to end the game. And Jackson State leaves the bases loaded. Mackenzie Willis. A little bit of drama to end that game with 3 walks in the inning. But congratulations to Belmont, their first trip to the big dance. They get their first tournament win. We'll see Kalia Gibson and company again next year. Another great season for the SWAC champions, but they fall 2-1 to Belmont. Our Capital One rewarding performance. It's the game-winning hit. Brenna Bloom.
Big RBI hit in the 6th. Plated 1. It came after the Grace Bresley double. Pretty performance by both sides. But Belmont advances to play Virginia Tech tonight in another elimination game in about 35 minutes.
Jackson State left 8 on in this game, 3 of them in the final inning, and we will have a rematch between Virginia Tech and Belmont, who played yesterday. Tech won at 5-0. A lot more on the line. That's coming up in about a half an hour. So we'll see you then. For Jenny Dalton-Hill and the rest of our crew, I'm Pam Ward. We say so long for now. Belmont and Virginia Tech coming up from Tuscaloosa.